and even a movie was recorded in this castle. And I have to admit that I'm a bit scared of heights, but we're going to go to the top. For me, honestly, it's incredible that in small towns like this one, there are such places. I would give a special mention when it's snowing, because the forest looks just incredible. Hello, good morning, and welcome back to my channel once again. Today we are in Niepołomice, and Niepołomice is a small town which is located just 25 kilometers away from the center of Krakow. It's got a population of 14,000 because the municipality consists of the town and 12 surrounding villages, making a total population of 28,000. And as I said, it's just 25 kilometers away from the center of Krakow, so you can get here by car and you can take the motorway, so you will be here in 20-25 minutes. If you want to come by bus, it's also possible, although it's going to take about 1 hour, 1 hour 10 minutes. And the name of the town, Niepołomice, comes from the Old Polish language word niepołomny, which meant impassable or difficult to destroy. And I'm going to be talking more about that later on the video when we visit Niepołomice's forest. So stay tuned. Here in the back is the Grunwald Mound, which was built on 1902. It was supposed to be just 6 meters high, but it ended up being 14 meters high, as you can see now, and 30 meters wide. It was built because there's a Grunwald battle which was on 1410, and they marched back into the town and they made a stop here on this hill before going back to Krakow on November the 11th. Also in Poland, Independence Day is on November the 11th. I'm going to go up because from there you can get a nice view of the town and also of some factories that are on the other side. I don't think you can see the river from there, but we're going to find out. And I have to admit that I'm a bit scared of heights, but we're going to go to the top. It's just 14 meters, and here in the top is super windy. Once you're on top, it looks like it's higher. I don't know, it's kind of like a visual effect. And this is the view that you get from here. You can see a lot of factories and the town. And to be honest, I don't know where I have this from, because in the past I was not that scared of heights. I really don't know why now. Let me know in the comments if you are also a bit scared of heights, just like I am. And when you come to Niepołomice, make sure you visit the park, which is located right behind the castle. Here you can come for a walk, you can bring your dog to the dog park, you can play chess on the giant board which is on the floor. And I even once saw an equestrian jumping competition on a Sunday, and people practice during the week. And today is Sunday, but there are not a lot of people because it's really cold. But if it were summer, this place would be packed. And right behind of me right now is the Observatorium of Niepołomice. It is 59 years old, and on Saturdays there are screenings on the artificial sky of the stars in the universe. It lasts 40 minutes and it's completely free. Just make sure you check the website before you come, because you need to book it before you come. Also on Fridays you can observe the sky from the observatorium with an astronomer. I don't think you need to book a place for that, but make sure you check the website to read all the information about that. And in this place you can also find an astronomy club for kids, a photography club for kids, a chemistry club for kids. There are lots of activities that you can do here, and for me, honestly, it's incredible that in small towns like this one, it's only 15,000 people, there are such places in which there are a lot of things to do, and it brings development to the town. This is the castle of Niepołomice. The construction of the castle dates back to the 14th century by order of the king Kazimierz the Great. It was basically his holiday castle, being located just 25 kilometers away from the center of Krakow, where his main castle was located. It was his holiday castle mainly because it's located right next to the Niepołomice forest, meaning that he used to hunt here. And this castle actually hosted a lot of hunting events, and also from the guests of the royalty. They used to stay here, they used to hunt, which was actually a social event back in those days. On the year year 1772, the castle or this area fell under the Austrian rule, and it was until the year 1991 that the castle was given back to the municipality of Niepołomice, and it's when its reconstruction started. And here you can see some pictures of when it was reconstructed. Its reconstruction started on the year 1991. Oh, and this is so interesting. I found a picture of when the Grunwald Mound was being constructed. I mentioned it earlier on the video that it was on 1902, and this is when it was being built. And now the castle is a venue for exhibitions, for concerts, for weddings, for business conferences. There is even a 3-star hotel which has 24 rooms, and the prices are around 300 zlotys, which is the equivalent of $70. And even a movie was recorded in this castle. Yes, the scene of a party in the movie 365 Days was recorded right here. And I haven't watched the movie, honestly. I'm not sure exactly what it's about. I think it's kind of similar to 50 Shades of Grey, but the Polish version of it. I'm not really sure about it, but for sure that movie was recorded in this castle. There was a party, and I think the main characters met here. I'm not exactly sure, but what is for sure is that one of the scenes of that movie was recorded in this castle. And here in the back is the Oak of Freedom. If you didn't know, Poland gained or regained its independence in 1918 after being occupied for more than 100 years. And the Austrian occupation left the area on November the 7th of 1918, and this is where the people gathered. And then on November the 11th, it was when officially Poland regained its independence after more than 100 years of occupation. And this is the small market square of Niepołomice, which is mostly a parking, but you can find restaurants. You can find a Turkish restaurant, an Italian restaurant, you can find Polish food, of course, you can find kebab, you can find shops. The castle is right there, the church is right here, the city hall is right there, so it's also got a small but beautiful market square. And right behind me is the Church of Niepołomice. The Church of Niepołomice is the oldest building in the whole town. It dates back to the 13th century, and on the year 1690 there was a fire, so it had to be reconstructed. Not completely, but there were some parts which had to be rebuilt. And we also visited the Phonograph Museum in Niepołomice. As you can see that there are a lot of phonographs, records there. The decoration of the room seems like those rooms on the 40s, 50s, because it's the time when this was being developed. And we're going to walk around a bit. But the most interesting part of this museum is that there's a room where there are a lot of records that we can play of different artists, and we're going to listen to some music. And this is a device that was used during the war, or actually all of these devices were used during the war, but this one specific was designed so the radio frequency was not intercepted. And this one was something that the soldiers were carrying in the back during the war. They told us that it's possible for us to try to grab it because they say that it's quite heavy, for you to grab an idea of how heavy it was for the soldiers to carry this around. We're gonna give it a shot, and oh my god, it is quite heavy. This is the room where I wanted to come, because here you have lots of records and you can choose whichever you want, put it on the record player and listen to the music. So I'm going to try to find something probably from Pink Floyd. There is the section of Polish music, and then on this other side we have the international section, and we're going to change the record. We put it down this way, and then we should be able to listen. Shine On You, Crazy Diamond. And our last stop is the Niepołomice forest. The forest occupies an area of 120 square kilometers, making it the 7th biggest forest complex in Poland. Now, this is just a small portion what it used to be on the primeval times, because it used to extend all the way to Sandomierz. Now, for you to grab an idea, that is 200 kilometers away from here. So it was massive. And as I mentioned earlier on the video, the name of the town comes from the word Niepoomny. This is a word from Old Polish which meant impassable or difficult to destroy. So as you can see, it is a pretty dense forest, so it was named after the forest. Now this forest now has several walking trails, bike trails. There is a walking trail which has got information about the flora and fauna of this place. And about the fauna of this place, you can find wild boars, you can find foxes, you can find owls, spotted eagles even. But the most interesting one is the European bison, which was on the border of extinction, but luckily they were able to bring the numbers back. There is a complex here which takes care of them, but sadly it's not open for the public. But at least it's interesting enough to know that there are these huge animals, because they are 2 meters high. Those huge animals are also living in Niepołomice's forest. I think it's worth visiting Niepołomice's forest all year long. I would give a special mention though when it's snowing, because the forest looks just incredible. It looks like it's a painting, you know. And also during autumn the colors are beautiful, and it's possible to pick mushrooms from here. I've never done it, I've seen a lot of people doing it, but it's also an activity that people enjoy doing during the autumn. I have a video of me walking around Lublin in autumn, so I'm gonna leave it there so you can watch it as well. And my dear friends, this is the end of the video. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know in the comments if you would come to Niepołomice, and make sure you hit the like button and you subscribe, and I'll see you on the next adventure.